Our next speaker is Niamh Eastwood, who's the Head of Legal Services at Release. Niamh.
That's a hard act to follow, I have to say. Okay, I actually just want to comment on some of the legislation. As I said, I'm Head of Legal Services, so I want to make some points about the proposals contained within this bill. The first is with regards to Clause 13, as Nikki has outlined, the criminalisation of those who pay for sex with those who are controlled. And it's fraught with legal difficulties in the context of what controlled means. Excellent examples given by Nikki. Others include husbands who support wives who work, boyfriends who support other boyfriends who work. This is a very wide definition. Also, too, if the man has actually, there's no requirement to prove that the man had knowledge. It's a strict liability offence. So the traditional English criminal justice system of coming to committing an offence with a guilty mind is gone. You can be innocent. You do not have to realise that control is involved and the difficulties fraught with control. Repeatedly, the government has said that this law is intended to be used to tackle people who are trafficked. This law does not do that. There are laws in place which can do that, and those are the laws that should be engaged with, where real issues of people who are being treated in horrific circumstances, that should be dealt with separately. It has nothing to do with this industry. Secondly, I just want to bring up the Clause 16, which brings in the compulsory rehabilitation. We have seen this time and time again within the drugs field. We have compulsory sentences for criminal offences. It doesn't work. It's not effective. It hasn't been assessed. This government keeps rolling out this approach. It keeps forcing people to choose or to take paths they do not choose to do without assessing whether that works. And we really need to ask in this economic climate whether we should be throwing more money down a road we don't know who works and for most women isn't needed, or for most men isn't needed. And finally, on closure orders. Closure orders, which are proposed for brothels, are one of the most insidious pieces of legislation. They came in under the Anti-Social Behaviour Act 2003 in relation to drug users. The police only have to prove reasonable suspicion. No criminal offence has to have taken place. And in the proposals contained within the legislation, the police only have to prove reasonable suspicion that the premises is a brothel and that the order is necessary to prevent that activity. This is a ridiculous standard to allow the police to become judge, jury, and judge, jury, and enforcement is simply unacceptable. It is not a criminal offence to engage in prostitution, nor has it ever been a criminal offence to pay for sex. This has been the will of the electorate and the principled and evidence-based status quo of the Wolfenden Committee since the 1970s. However, these proposals will criminalise prostitution through the back door. It will create a potentially dangerous environment for those working within the industry, and we cannot endorse any of the proposals contained within this bill.